Hey everyone, this is Jinx. We're just going to take a look at Skyrogue here. I'm using a 360 controller, and I had to turn off the music because there's really no option other than on or off for it. Unfortunately, I can't turn down the sound effects either, so I apologize if things drown me out once in a while. As you can see here, the options are pretty basic, but that's really all you need. I think you can use keyboard mouse, but honestly I'm not sure why you'd want to for a game like this. I can't really talk to how good those controls are. It does have co-op split screen. It's something I really don't have any way of looking at right now, though. So let's take a look. This game reminds me a lot of early 3D games, you know, Super FX chip games on the Super Nintendo. There were even a few Genesis games like M1 Abrams Battle Tank, and I think they ported Steel Talons as well. And you've got games like Hard Driving, and then there were a lot of PC sims at that time. Obviously, the benefit this has is that it actually runs at 60 frames per second and looks pretty slick since you can run it at 1080p native. Now, this is called Skyrogue for a reason. It's a roguelike. You go through a series of increasingly difficult missions. I've honestly only made it through day 3 or 4 at this point. But I'm also kind of a klutz with this kind of game. Every time you go out for a mission, you can customize. And that means you can choose which fighter you have. And if you go down, you can choose different weapons to go with it. Now, the weapons you have, excuse me, the weapons you have can be unlocked with experience spending money here in the lab. So, for example, I like these little tough micro missiles, so I can spend money that I had before, go into the loadout, and boom, there they are. Missiles in this slot tend to be sort of your general purpose thing, the kind of thing you use to take out drones and other jets. And then you can come up with some heavier stuff. Obviously I can't take these. The problem is you only have so much room in terms of payload and avionics over there. And each kind of weapon takes a mix of both. What I am going to take, though, is these rockets, because usually they're pretty effective. Now, you can get guns, too. Honestly, the default gun, I feel like you're better off just not using. The reason is you have to use the Y button to cycle between weapons, and if you have just 2 weapons, it's a little less confusing. You also have the flares. That's the only special I've got available right now. Flares are great when you have missiles coming at you because you can use them to distract them. Now, if we hop out here, you can see we have different fighters with different quantities in terms of durability, speed, maneuverability. Another neat thing you have, well, and the other thing is too, these have different amounts in terms of payload and avionics too, so that varies. I wish they showed that on the upper screen, but they don't. As you go, you can unlock new fighters and jets and bombers too as you go, which is nice. And here's where it gets cool. There aren't a lot of them yet, but there are mods for this game too, including the Bebop ship and a Warthog, as I like to call it, a Cobra Rattler missing an engine, and yes, Decepticons. And if you go down, you can go here to skins. And along with the models, people add skins. Oh, yeah, there's the Skyfox. And here we go, G1, as in Gen 1 Transformers. We've got all these. And there's Skywarp, Starscream, Sunstorm, Thundercracker. My favorite is Skywarp, but let's go with Starscream since he's a favorite. And let's see, our target is a command post, which is ground on the ground, and yeah, I can take it out with this. So let's launch and see how this goes. Okay. if there's usually an enemy carrier, I usually don't mess with it. You're usually better off staying away. Generally, you get attacked by some drones right off the bat, so let's see if we can take some of those guys out. Oh, hell. The thing with this game is, and this is something that it has in common, I think, with a lot of early 3D polygonal games, is that the physics is very floaty, and the hit detection is kind of wonky, to be honest. It's not that it's not accurate, it's just that you don't take any damage when you collide with certain things. Now, you don't want to touch the ground or anything on the ground, but if you come into contact with another plane, it just tends to stall you out and knock you around. So I don't play very well while I'm talking, so let's just take these drones out first. You can get auto-targeting, which automatically locks on. I have it set to not auto-target. Yeah, you can see how simple the physics is here. You can slow way, way down to full around. Yeah, I'm gonna die just because I'm not any good with these. I'm gonna take some rockets to hammer this thing. Yeah, you can tell, yeah, this isn't exactly a flight sim we're talking about here. It is a hell of a lot of fun, though, is what it is. And every time you play, missions are different. I mean, generally, it's some sort of mix. It's either ground targets, or you're going after AWAC planes, or something like that, or a mix of smaller planes. And generally, your enemies are going to be anti-aircraft emplacements, sometimes on boats and hovercraft. And, well, these little guys. I'm not sure if I got him or not. So I took out a little bit of the A around that thing. So maybe I'll try and get back after it. Come on, Starscream. Get at it. Yeah, this thing's really taking a beating. I'm still kind of learning the ordnance. There are definitely some weapons that I can't see how they are useful. Or it's not so much that they're not useful, it's just that it seems like there are always better options. Okay, let's take out this last drone because it's really starting to piss me off. Almost hit me. But it wouldn't have really mattered. Now we're going to slow way down. Yeah, pretty ridiculous, huh? And now we have to go back, and this is probably my least favorite part. We have to go back and try to land. Now, land is a pretty loose way of putting it. It's more like you kind of just sort of flop, but you can die. You can screw this up. This was always my least favorite. Oh god, I'm missing it completely. Great, great, great. Now I gotta turn around. This was always my least favorite part of any game like this. Actually, my god, going clear back to Top Gun on the original NES, I remember being so frustrated by completing a mission, and then at the very end, landing was so difficult. In this case, I really just kind of wish it would just do it. There we go. Yep. See, your ship just sort of flops down there, but what are you going to do? Yep. Here we are on the Decepticon helicarrier. And, well, that's Skyrogue. In some ways, it's pretty simple at this point, but it's pretty enjoyable, and I've put a few hours into it. I would say it's definitely worth the $10 asking price at this point, if it looks like something you'd enjoy. So I'll let you guys go, and have a good one.